No problemo.
Hey, everybody, welcome to Cocktails and Streams with Skip. This is the premiere episode, the first official episode. We had a pilot about a week or two ago to get things worked out, and I'm glad to say that this is the first of what hopes to be many, many more. So, with that in mind, I'm going to tell you a little bit about why I started this podcast. Um, I just spent 17 years with the Royal Canadian Navy. My career was cut short just due to injury. I was medically released, and I found a lot of therapy within music. I played a lot when I was in high school. Got involved with the jazz band late in high school, and got to come out to Halifax, Nova Scotia as part of a jazz band. Now, I grew up in Saskatchewan, which is the prairies. I grew up in a small town, but we did have a lot of music in our community, and it was really highlighted in the high school programs and things like that. So that being said, that was a long time ago. The key to aging is moisturizer for starters. I'm kidding. But the thing is, with me being gone in the military, it was like I was completely taken out of the loop for about a period of almost 2 decades as far as technology, the scene. I mean, sure, I listened to music on the radio and things like that, but I was so preoccupied with my career and home life and everything else like that, I really didn't have the opportunity to delve into it as much as I wanted to. But once COVID hit and I was released from the military, I was finding myself back into music and just finding it as a great outlet and a tool, not only just to support my mental health and just transition back to normal, if you will, from a military life, but it gave me a lot of hope and inspiration that music's got a very healing power. And with that, I started getting interested in the technology, and it's just blowing my mind how amazing things have gotten. So here I am having my first podcast, which 20 years ago wouldn't even thought of being a possibility, but here I am. And that's the background for this. So I don't want to take up too much time talking about me, because there's going to be a few episodes down the road where we can do that and catch up. I want to tell you that the live chat is available. If you're watching live, by all means, hit us up with any questions. I will also advise you, if you can't find me on Facebook, go to bradchatmusic.ca. You'll be able to find all the links for YouTube, Facebook, all that stuff. And today, our first episode, I've got a great guest with us today. This gentleman, known as the drum guy, the popcorn man himself, he's the host of Roadie Shorts on YouTube. It's a new series. He just finished touring with Volbeat on their European tour as a drum tech to John Larson. That whole Roadie Shorts, he highlights other crews' talents, promotes it, and goes into the details that every job entails, from the carpenters to the caterers. And today I would like to take the opportunity to introduce to you drummer instructor, musician, drum tech extraordinaire, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Pete Abdou. Without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, Pete, thank you very much for coming on to the show, Pete. I know you just finished a heavy tour. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, it was, the longest one of this year. We did 70-something days, including prep days, and there were 37 shows, knocked down to 35 because of a few cancellations. But, it was a lot, all over Europe and the UK. We did some Ireland dates as well. And
is that right?
Yeah, it was great, all through the fall. From October 5th I left, and I got back the 21st of December.
Just before Christmas?
Yeah, jumped right into Christmas, my friend.
Nice. So you were
telling
all
you
over.
Yeah.
And you're back where? Massachusetts is where you call home, just outside of Boston, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yeah, I'm about 45 minutes south of Boston. Yeah.
So wicked hard winter for you. Is it not too bad?
It's not too bad down here right now.
Not too hot?
It's been mostly rain. It's cold, but it's been mostly rain.
That's good. So for a lot of the fans out there, typically, if you to the average music fan, or the concert goer, what does a day in the life of Pete Abdou look like, as far as drum tech or whatever else?
Being on tour, you mean?
Yeah. We'll talk a little bit about that. I really want to get to your projects, but we'll just kind of highlight what you just came off of, and we'll just recap that real quick.
Sure. Yeah. The tour we just finished was very consistent for me, and what I mean by that, when Volbeat plays big arenas, the schedule stays pretty much the same.
Right.
Crew, because there's a lot of crew and there's a lot that goes into the production, right from hanging chains and motors all the way up to sound check and showtime and all that. So I'm not in there at 6:30 in the morning. There's nothing for me to do.
Right.
I can wake up at 9 and go in and have breakfast and wait for my gear to come in off the truck, because when you're dealing with this type of production, we had 14 semi trucks of stuff, and I think
it's crazy, man.
I think we're truck 12. So by the time I get in there, I won't touch my stuff till at least 10 or 11 and be on stage. I won't be on stage sometimes before noon. It just depends on how quickly everything goes for everybody else.
Sure.
You know, even just getting the trucks where they need to be to unload them is tricky sometimes.
I mean, especially with you can't control environmentals like climate or weather
Right.
events, right? You got to try to make up
Right.
for that. I'm sure you try to.
Exactly.
Your logistics boys and girls, they try hard to compensate for that in ahead of time, but you can
Yep.
never judge that stuff. So, no, that's got to
No.
be pretty.
Yeah, so I mean,
pretty,
my day won't start till probably 10, and yeah, I go in and get up on stage. Like with this type of tour, like I said, we carry our own stage, so I'll be up on stage building at one end of the arena, and they're still doing lighting and video at the other end and audio. And then once everybody's set, usually around on this tour, I think it was usually around maybe 1 o'clock, we rolled the stage where it needed to be
Right.
with everything on it already built.
All right.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
So we do
eh?
that.
It's like
Yeah.
it's almost like shipbuilding in a lot of ways. you build it in segments and then you just traverse it out to the
Sure.
to the
Yeah.
boat. Yeah.
So it would roll, and inevitably, what was hilarious about it was inevitably, and I said this every day too. I said to myself every day. So when you get ready to roll the stage, you call all the stage hands around the stage. They all
Right.
grab a leg and they push the stage. Inevitably, some local stagehand wants to move, so they start moving without us even calling it. And it happened every day.
Yeah.
They never wait for our crew chief to be like, "Okay, we're gonna roll. Ready? 1, 2." They'd push on one, or
Yeah. Eager to
they just
achieve. Yeah.
they just start by themselves. So that kind of cracked me up every day.
Oh, for sure.
Once we're in position, we usually do line check around 2-ish, 3, and if the band's going to sound check, they won't come in until 4:30
Right.
most days. Then
Yeah,
of course
in a lot of cases, you'll hear the band doing sound check while you're lining up to get in the doors.
yeah, sometimes, and it's usually the opening bands because it just depends how long Volbeat wants to be up there sound checking.
Yeah.
If they're quick, then they get up. The opening band's up there quick after that. But if they're not, they need to rehearse a song or whatever they want to do. I mean, it's their show, so however long they want to take, they take, and then the openers just have to deal with whatever time is left. So yeah, sometimes you're hearing them sound checking the opening bands, before as you're standing at the door and the doors are starting to open.
Yeah.
So once sound check's done, 4:30, 5 o'clock, I cover John's kid up and go have dinner or whatever, and then I'm off till showtime. Really, I mean, I'm on call in case he needs something, but I'm just kind of hanging around, going to look for popcorn, stuff like that.
That's when you get to do your roadie shorts bits, right?
Yeah, you know what? I try to do roadie shorts when I know people aren't going to be busy.
Yeah, I see that. And that's respectful, of course.
So if I do get in early in the morning and I know that, this guy's not going to be able to do anything for another hour, I'm going to go above him for now. I'll try to get an interview in, if I can do it. And it was something that it came up from our lighting director, Niller. He brought it up because he watches my YouTube channel, my touring YouTube channel.
Right.
And he said, I watch your stuff and I really like it. I think a lot of people like it. But do you think maybe we should do interviews with other crew members to show that side of it, not just the drum side of it?
Right.
And I said, yeah, that's a pretty good idea. I think people would like it. So I started real late in the tour doing it. It was only a couple weeks left of the tour. And so I was scrambling. I did 22 interviews.
I see, and that's the thing is when you said you did that much in that short period of time, 22 episodes is a lot to shoot. And I'm sure you had to do a lot when you got home too, but still, it's it's an undertaking.
Yeah.
You've got a busy schedule, and then you're able to squeeze
Sure.
that in. Also respecting other people's schedules and everything else.
Right.
I mean, it's an accomplishment. So good job on that. And
Thank
look,
you.
here you got a guitar player that has a premiere episode of a new podcast, and he has a drummer first night.
There you go.
So I mean, you're
That's
making
what it
waves, brother.
Well, they're
Bass
not loud.
players, I'm gonna wait a little bit. I might have to get a guitar player on before a bass guy, but
Right.
so the love of popcorn, yeah. So popcorn, Pete, you like them salty, you like them sweet, a little bit of mix of both, but
Usually salty.
I don't want to ruin the surprise, but let's
Okay.
find out do you have a worst popcorn? I want other people to find out who had the best popcorn by watching Roadie Shorts, because you got other people in the crew involved. And I think that was.
They won't find out by watching Roadie Shorts. They'll find out by watching the Popcorn Hunt
All right.
on the same channel. But there's only a few videos. I did it mostly on Instagram during in my stories, which eventually those disappear, obviously.
Right.
So there's some videos when I would post touring videos aside from Roadie Shorts, you would see me go on popcorn hunts, and I did do a reveal of who won the whole thing.
Yeah.
The worst.
I know, but
yeah, the worst. Trying to remember where it was. To be honest, there were a lot of bad ones. There were a lot of bad popcorn.
Well, we'll skip that. Talk about. So you're home now, right? But actually, you know what? Before we go on to your projects, let me flip the script onto you one time, because you always ask this question of your guests on Roadie Shorts.
Yeah.
Your favorite part of touring?
Oh, my favorite part of touring. That I get to mess around with drums every day.
Yeah.
That's my favorite part of touring. And the part about that is I get to play in all these places.
Yeah.
Even though I'm not playing the show.
Right.
I'm sound checking twice a day in all these venues, once without an audience and once with an audience.
Yeah.
And that's super thrilling.
But you know what, too? Like, as a drummer, you've probably been drawn to acoustics and, like, sound quality in different rooms and things like that. So here you are experiencing that sound on an experimental level on occasion during sound check. And you're exploring all these rooms with the acoustics of the drums. I mean, it's got to make you a more complete and well-rounded tech, I'm sure. And then
Absolutely.
B, here you are, like, you're experiencing these acoustical phenomena, traveling
and
around
the
the
feel
world,
of the
seeing
size
different
of that
rooms.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah. I mean, just even feeling the drums through that kind of a sound system.
Yeah.
Getting that in a club.
I can only imagine.
Clubs are great, but when you're in a big arena or a stadium or on a festival site or whatever, and there's 50,000 people out there.
Yeah.
When you're up there sound checking, it's pretty crazy.
Powerful.
That's probably my favorite part. Just being able to be out there and play the drums when we're at these venues.
Yeah, for sure. I can see that, and from the episodes that I've watched and stuff, the camaraderie that you have with the crew, and not just those within your own field of expertise, but throughout.
Yeah.
It looks like that compensates from being away from home a little bit. But what is the worst part of touring for you?
What's the worst part for me? Airports. A lot of the touring we did this summer,
right,
with the festivals and everything, we had a lot of travel, and I don't mind being on the bus for however long we need to be on the bus.
Yeah.
In fact, I love the bus, but flying and ferries and all this other travel, I could probably do without. Yeah. That's not my favorite. And I ask people that question. I would always mention travel in Roadie Shorts because I hate it so much. I'm like, they must hate it too. And a lot of them didn't. It was kind of funny.
Yeah.
A lot of them didn't mind the travel at all. But yeah, I mean, this one wasn't so bad, like I said, because it was mostly bus.
Yeah.
We had a few ferry rides, which weren't too bad, but it was mostly bus. I just had to fly, in and out when I was coming from home and back.
Sure.
And I just don't like spending time in airports. I just don't.
Well, there's not much.
I don't mind flying. I'm fine flying. I'm not scared, but I just don't like have to go through my luggage and all that stuff. Yeah, I could do without that.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
If I could travel with a backpack only, I would do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I can't.
Yeah, so that's the thing, right? Like, you're going through airports, you're dealing with all these different things. When you get home from all that chaos, in a lot of ways it's chaos, right? Like little bits of chaos. What's your number one go-to to just get away from it? Don't tell me play the drums, because that's a given.
No. When I come home, I do like what I did the other night. It's been kind of chaotic around here for certain reasons, and I went to the movies by myself.
Nice.
And I was one of two people going to see Babylon, and I sat there at the fourth row, nobody around me. I had the aisle behind me, so there were no seats behind me, and got my popcorn. and my beer and sat there and watched a movie, and it takes you away from everything because you're
Sure.
so focused, in that movie. So that's my go-to usually. Yeah.
And that's arts in general. I think, like we get lost in movies and cinema and things like that, and it's such a break from every day, and that
Yeah.
and hence music, right? And I gotta say too, for anybody that's watching this right now, if you're not familiar with Volbeat and you're a friend of mine, I'm sorry for letting you down by not telling you. These guys are great. Check out Volbeat. They are a fantastic mix of hard rock, metal and rockabilly, like shot. It is something that, like, when I heard them, I was sitting there. I think I was just running my YouTube playlist or whatever, and these guys popped in. I think it was Still Counting, their live
When was that?
video. It was about 2.5 years ago.
Oh, okay, not that long ago.
So no, it wasn't like, and I'm late. Like I said, like I kind of got out, and I'm getting to know new bands and stuff like that. So when I heard Volbeat come across, and I was like, this is kind of cool, and I like some good driving hard rock, and I'm a big Metallica fan. So when I heard Still Counting, they kind of rip into it, and I was just like, these guys got it all. And then I started delving into the library a bit, and man, like Die to Live with Nathan Fillion, and like all these different songs that come out of this one band is phenomenal. And with that, I even noticed that one of the caterers had mentioned that, like after a period of time, she's more of a rhythm and blues person and likes the older stuff.
Yeah, Maureen, yeah.
Right, yeah, but she gets used to it. She's like, man, there's some really good songs. And then by the end of the tour, she knew all the words to every song because they're contagious. And just, the fact that you got to tour with them is just fantastic. So kudos on that. Speaking of bands.
It's been a blast, man. Huh?
Speaking of bands. Bumbles Bounce.
Bumbles Bounce, man. Bumbles Bounce. Black on Black.
Love it. So tell us about Bumbles Bounce. Now, I've seen a little bit of your work and things like that on YouTube and whatnot, but you've got some exciting news on the horizon with Bumbles Bounce.
Yeah, Bumbles Bounce started back in like 95, and it disbanded by 2000 or earlier than 2000, and kind of reignited over COVID, really, because nobody had anything to do. And, so
Preach.
We found something to do. The other guys in the band, it's a 3-piece band. Now it's a 4-piece band, but it was a 3-piece band back then. And with my buddies Eric and Tony. And Tony I had played in other bands with. And, we did a record back then called Low Fat, No Calorie Acoustic Pop Band. Okay.
It's not a mouthful at all.
I know.
Oh, hope your really posters didn't have, you were charged by a letter for your posters.
Yeah. Yeah, right. But it was a way to describe the music because we didn't really use any electric guitars. I mean, the bass was electric, but to record the album, we didn't put any electric guitars on it. It was all acoustic guitars.
Yeah.
And so it was really kind of lighthearted, fun rock or pop rock, right? So we did a second record, but we never finished it. That was in like 98. And the engineer, Mark Daly, works for, he's got a studio called E. Dagnan Productions in Avon, Mass. And he's recorded everything for us up until recently. He's still working with us. But when we did that record, the second record, a bunch of time had gone by. I mean, almost 20 years, if not 20 years. And COVID hit, and I'm like, man, we should revisit that record.
Right.
And Mark had just gotten it off ADAT tape. Remember ADAT tape?
Yep.
Yeah. So he had just transferred it all so that it wouldn't get lost or destroyed or deteriorated,
Right.
And he had all the tracks set up, and we're like, man, we should finish this. We have all the main tracks done. Let's just bring our buddies in and start recording different instrumentation into these songs and revive the songs a bit and then release it. So we did in 2021. And we called it Greatest Hits as a gag.
You got to do what you got to do. Like that's the thing is when you're living your dream, make it the way you want it to be, right?
Yeah. So I mean that's out on streaming. But the news that you're talking about is the latest release.
Yeah, the EP, isn't it?
The EP, yeah, it's called Some Fat, which is related to Low Fat, No Calorie Acoustic Pop Band.
Because you're adding some fat?
We're adding some fat because we added a guitar player. Okay?
Oh, is that a dig? Dude,
Wait.
it's Christmas cooking. Huh? Well done.
So we added a guitar player, and his name's Derek Wolfram, and he plays in a cover band with our bass player.
Okay.
And what he did was he played our live show when we released Greatest Hits. He joined us for our live show, and he started adding all this cool guitar and these melodies and these leads and stuff to songs that never had it.
Gotcha.
And we asked him to record on the new stuff we were recording, which the first song on Some Fat is called In the Now. And it's a brand new tune that we wrote, and we actually recorded it here at my studio, and then we mixed it with Mark at his studio, and Derek's on that. And then the old record, Low Fat, which we were going to remaster, we decided to add Derek to that record and re-release that record instead of remastering it.
Right.
So the other 4 songs on Some Fat are actually tracks from Low Fat that are remixed with Derek and
Isn't
all
that
these
cool?
leads.
But that's the thing. Can you imagine if you'd have to book studio time for every time you wanted to change things up and around that? You know,
I know.
like the technology within our realms as artists and musicians. Like for myself, it's like
Right.
probably fast forwarded my progress in so many ways because I had to play catch up. But YouTube, all these other websites that are just like, I didn't have the internet. I had a magazine if I was lucky.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. So Some Fat's out. It's streaming now. The 5 songs. Those 5 songs are part of a bigger record, which is the Low Fat record that we're redoing with Derek.
Okay.
I think we have 2 songs left for him to do, and then we're going to do a full length release, including the EP songs later in the summer.
Awesome.
And we already have the title for that. So the title for that is going to be Added Fat, 196 Calorie Rock Band. And the 196 calorie is our ages all added up.
Oh, that's cool.
So we just it's a playoff Low Fat. We've all kind of just been funny with this band and you know, took it very lightly, even though we take music seriously and we try to write, you know, good stuff. We're all very lighthearted about it, and we rag on each other, and you know, we have fun with each other. And we have fun with it, you know.
Yeah, but the thing is too, like a lot of hits were never meant to be that by the bands. You know,
Right.
some of the best hits were never, you know, the A-side stuff. So,
Sure.
You know, the biggest thing is, you know, I think, I mean, by all means, I'm still an amateur and learning from guys like yourself, but it really comes down to, you know, I find that if you're enjoying what you're doing, you know, good things can come out of it, right? And if you're passionate about something, well, then you're
Sure.
going to be that much more successful doing it. So that's
Absolutely.
cool, you know.
Yeah.
And you know, with that mantra in mind, like from a, I guess, you know, from our, I guess we'll call it our age point of view.
Yeah.
The technology that's available to you now to do this sort of thing, compared to say years ago where you had to rely on the studio and things like that. Do you see it assisting the music community with new, fresh ideas, or do you think it's just going to become oversaturated with mediocre stock type?
It already is.
I mean, has it always been that way though?
Yeah, but we didn't really have the I mean, you say technology, but you know, we didn't have all that instant gratification.
Right.
And an instant way anybody can put a song on Spotify.
Yeah.
Anybody. You know what I mean? So we didn't have that.
Yeah.
Back in the 90s or earlier, really. So yeah, it might have been, we might have thought it was oversaturated back then, but now it's insane now.
So now it's almost like it's a lot of individual marketing, I'm sure, right? Like,
oh yeah.
You know.
Yeah, definitely. And I think touring is a big part of it for bands now to make their money as well.
I would say, you know, you're looking at ticket prices and everybody's up in arms, but when you think about it, bands are touring to make ends meet. They're not relying on record sales and stuff. Like we're in a phase now where you pay $12 a month and you've got thousands of songs on your playlist, you know, and you can guarantee they're not getting paid for each individual song to the word that they would have been with a record company back in the day, which still was probably never enough compared to what they contributed, but now it's even more of a struggle. So But do you see it kind of coming away like a 180, and it's coming in, and the bands are going to become more of their own management style, marketing team, and it becomes like a label and a brand in itself that, that it could be more lucrative for a touring band, where they're not losing the rights and all the other stuff that goes with it?
Yeah, I think so. I just think that someone's knocking at my door.
That's fair.
Hey, I'm still doing an interview.
Sorry,
That's
it's going to
okay.
be half hour.
Okay. Right. Sorry, guys.
Hey, it's all good. Hey, Pete, I just appreciate you taking the time to come visit us, because I know you've been so busy. So, hey, life happens, and that's what this is about. So,
exactly. Yeah.
So
I'm here at the studio. That was actually the owner. I rent a room here at his music school and record here and teach here and all that.
Awesome.
But I do think, to answer your question, I think that on an independent level, when you're a small band and you're a club band or whatever, it could be great for you to do it on your own like that, and that's probably the way you're going to make the most money. Volbeat's got a label and management and all this stuff, but not every band gets that.
Yeah.
So I think that and they handle distribution and all that, but
to be fair, Volbeat's been around for a long time. Like they've
2001,
earned that.
Yeah.
Like I didn't realize,
Absolutely.
because I was new to them. They haven't. It's not like they've just been around a couple of years. They've gotten some more radio play probably as the last couple of years, and some exposure.
Yeah.
Geez, I was even playing Xbox, and just the minute my girl was playing, I was like, oh. So glad I spent money on this game this time.
Yeah, right.
I still sucked at the game, but
no, they worked for it, man. And they were doing it themselves back then in a van or whatever, just like everybody else starts. You know? So I think that's what's missing.
Don't wait for your big break. Make your big break.
Right.
That's what the technology has given us these days, right?
Yeah. I'd like to see some of the newer bands and these young bands. I'd like to see them get in a van together and go tour. There's not enough of that anymore.
No, I can see that.
People, it's cutting your teeth, so to speak.
I mean, my exposure with bands as of late has been sending your tracks, right? Like we send in the tracks, and we it's great. It got me involved with playing music again during COVID. But you're right, that camaraderie and the bandmanship. Now we're all just kind of working with each other's schedules, and he's like, we'll get to it when we get to it. So there's something to be said when you have 4, 5, 6, 2, 3 like-minded individuals that all share a common goal. You're more likely to aim for the same direction, right? So
yeah, absolutely.
So we've got a couple. Guess what? We've got a couple questions.
Oh, cool.
From the live chat.
Cool. Let's hear them.
Is it Wian? Wian?
You're right.
Yep,
Wian, I know Wian.
Wian, she's like, yay!
Really in the shows.
4 shows in 4 days in 4 different countries. She laughs.
Yeah.
How
I think
would
that was probably, she was saying that because I was bitching about travel.
Is that right? She wants to know, how would you rank last night's Popcorn in comparison with the top 3 of last tour?
Oh, the movie Popcorn I had? It wasn't that great.
No?
So it probably doesn't even rank in the top 3, to be honest.
Is that right?
Yeah, unfortunately, and it's my local theater.
Oh, man.
Sometimes it's great. Sometimes it's just okay. It was just okay. Yeah.
Nobody made a fresh batch. They gave you the bottom of the pile, and
right. And they put it in the bags ahead of time.
That's the worst.
Which I hate. I used to love to see it in the case, and they'd scoop it out of the case.
Have you seen that internet sensation of that kid flipping popcorn boxes around? He's like doing this whole loop around. Oh, this kid's got. He's working in a movie theater, and he's got like this popcorn spinning routine where he gets the boxes going, then he scoops up, fills up, and that's the thing, right? He made his job an art form, and now he's famous because of technology, right?
Yep, I love it.
It's great. So there's that. Yeah. Also, moving lines, I want to say they said Happy New Year, and thanks for the heads up on the volume.
Happy New
Year. They're heading out to tour in Alberta in June. Now, just give you a heads up on that, Pete. I've talked to Moving Lines. They're going to be a guest on the show in a few weeks.
Oh, sweet.
They're friends of mine that I went to school with who found success on the west coast of Canada, and they've been touring and doing, like you said, they're taking advantage of technology, but they're also doing the work, which is great to say. So I'm glad that they've tuned in, and hopefully that they've got some words of wisdom from you on that. Yeah. What else you want to talk
Mhm.
about, my friend? You got to plug some stuff. I think let me give you the floor for a little bit and talk about what you want to talk about.
Okay, yeah, I was just distracted by the whiz kid jumping in here. It says, "Let's freaking go."
The Whiz Kid
You
is
know who
another
that is?
friend. Yeah, he's a
Uh,
friend from out in Saskatchewan way. I'm
okay.
actually coming up with a theme song for his TikToks. I'm working on a little
Oh,
theme
okay.
song for the guy. He's a local legend back home, a local celebrity, and TikTok sensation
Yeah,
on the rise. So
very
I'm
cool.
looking at just and I'm not going to tell you guys I'm doing everything for free right now, but I'm working with some friends just to gain some experience doing different projects, small production
Yep.
things, some generic songwriting stuff like that, just to
Yep.
start. I don't necessarily know where this path leads, but I'm going to
Right.
enjoy the journey. Whether I go into production, whether I go into performance, promotion, I'm having a blast just being part of all
Yeah.
of it.
Nice.
So yeah, go ahead.
Thank
At the Whiz Kid, let's freaking go. Let's talk about what you.
you.
Oh, I think your brother just said
That's
something.
my brother. Is that how you actually found me? Was through my brother on Facebook?
I did through the Volbeat fan site.
Okay. Oh
I
yeah,
noticed that
Dave.
I was watching Roadie Shorts, and then I seen this guy. I was like, well, what are the odds this is the same last name as the other guy that had the YouTube? So
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I did a little bit of
What a
stalking.
coincidence.
Like
Yeah.
I'm like, so hey.
Well, he's in town. He lives about an hour and a half away, my brother, and he's in town tonight. So he's asking me where we're going for dinner and drinks. Looks like
Well,
after the
let me
podcast.
see. I would if I was taking my brother out in Boston, I'd probably take him to the Hong Kong club. Just
We're
around
definitely not going to Boston. That's too far.
No, just go into Boston. Just around outside the Black Rose, just around the left is the Hong Kong Club, and we would always go there in the Navy as the Navy guys because they had like $2 chicken skewers at midnight or whatever. They started going around with it, and the best karaoke in the city. The best karaoke in the city because they let me get up there and sing a couple times, so I was like, these guys rock.
You guys go in uniform?
Not in Boston.
Not Boston, no.
No, it's just because we have too much fun in Boston. We'd rather be undercover in Boston.
Yeah.
But I will tell you the way that city takes care of the military troops, even outside, is top notch. I mean, your Boston's finest. We're always quick to offer us a ride or have our backs. But the Boston people in general, I mean, they get a tough rap. But man, as long as you're not a Yankees fan, you're golden.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. But
So
they do get a bad rap.
Yeah, but no, it's a
Some of
great
them are.
city, and you know what? In a lot of ways, Pete, where I live here in Canada, we're the sister city to Boston. We give you guys a Christmas tree every year, and vice versa.
Yeah.
And it's because of during what we had this thing called the Halifax explosion years ago, and Boston came to our city's rescue, hooked us up with a bunch of building supplies known as Hydrostone and things like that. So in turn, we give them a Christmas tree every year. Okay, this is
I
not a
remember
geography
that.
lesson. I'm sorry. But
Oh,
on the
it's true,
same
yeah.
hand, because of that, we do share a lot of kinship with them. And I do find that when I go to Boston, it's almost like, being home in a lot of ways because, they're so very similar in a lot of ways. Both being water cities, being on the ocean and stuff like that. But we,
Yeah.
Brad Marchand's from here, so your Bruins friends are pretty happy with that.
Yep.
Let's talk
Yep.
about
All right, so
what do you got on the go
wanted me to,
next?
You wanted me to talk about stuff coming up?
Yeah, by all means.
Well, I mentioned the Bumbles EP, so we're going to go back in the studio and be hard at work at getting the full length done. Everything to do with me and what I do it's all on my website, peteabdou.com. So everything I talk about, you can find on there fairly easily. I just reformatted the first page too, so you can get to all my social media and all that with a click. And the YouTube page that I do for touring, there won't be anything on it as of today because I'm not touring.
Well, makes sense, right?
So most of it, oh no, we're buffering. Are you buffering there?
I might have buffered. Don't tell anybody.
Did you lose me?
I didn't mean to buffer without notifying you. If I buffered before.
That's okay. I think I got you back. You got me back?
Yeah, I hear you audio wise. I think we might. You know what? I'm gonna kill something.
No, I can't hear you.
Are you back? There you are. I think my background music was giving me a little hassle. Are you there? I see you.
Sorry, guys.
It's all right, Pete. I don't know if you can hear me or not, but
I can't. I can't hear you, and you're frozen.
All right. So I'll tell you what, Pete. I'm going to send you a quick text
There you
message
are.
here. Oh, are you back? Are we back?
I heard you say I'll be back, but I don't.
Are we back?
Your video's blurred and frozen.
Hmm. All right. Well, tell you what. I'm just going to send a quick message, folks, to Pete. Unless you can hear me
Let's
now.
type in the chat.
What's that? Oh, maybe, yeah, that's it. Maybe all your fan mail is holding things up. All right. Can you hear me?
No, hold on a second.
Okay. Folks appreciate the.
Oh, technology.
Yeah, well, you know, what can you do, right? I'm just going to play around a little bit with the audio here. Now, as far as I can tell, Pete, we can hear you.
I'm not getting you. I'm going to refresh. Refresh here. Okay, you can hear me. Okay,
Yeah.
good. All right, I'll keep talking then. So, everything that, yeah, everything that you want to know about me is on my website. It's pretty easy to find. pwabdou.com. Just Google it. I'll come up. So the YouTube page, touring YouTube page, has a bunch of stuff on it. You can go back and watch, including roadie shorts. But I won't be posting on there just because, of
You're not
course,
touring.
I'm not touring. Exactly. So the thing is, the other channel that I have, which doesn't have as many viewers, but I think just because I started it late. So get over there and subscribe. It's about everything else that I do, drumming wise and recording and playing live. And it's got clips of me playing live with different people. And, I'll be posting more on that because of the projects I'm doing while I'm home. Some of the projects, besides Bumble's Bounce, I'm working with this artist in a band called Herringbone. And
You
I
mentioned
went to
that, yeah.
record some music for them, and we're going to be doing some shows. There's a show coming up in March here in Massachusetts, in Boston. Um, and that information is on my website as well. But it's really good stuff, and he has I think 5 out of the 7 or 8 songs I recorded for him are already streaming, so you can look up Herringbone. That's on my site as well. Um, there's a few other studio projects that are in the works, and like I said, we're trying to get Bumble's Bounce stuff finished and off the ground so that we can release it in the summer
Sounds good.
as a full length.
Right.
Lessons are back, not in full swing, but I'm doing a few drum lessons here at the studio. I have 4 or 5 students right now, and am I accepting students? Yeah, usually in person if they contact me through email or whatever, and I have the time to do it, then I'll do it. But that's not really my main focus here. My main focus here at the studio is to record more and do
Right.
tracks for people. I got a guy out in Denver that wants me to do some tracks, so I'll be doing that quite a bit, I think, remotely, which is awesome. Like we were talking earlier, you can do that now,
Yeah. It's,
where it doesn't matter where you are. You can record for other people and send them the tracks, and they can
with the
use them.
price of gas, you don't really want to be
So I think
traveling to
that's brilliant.
studios for. And studio
Um,
time's expensive as hell too, right? So a lot of people don't realize that. You just don't want to book studio time and go in there and start jamming. You need to
yeah, I mean,
go in with a game plan, right?
yeah, I mean, booking studio time can be expensive for sure. So having people, even the major artists, are doing that. You look at all the drummers like Kenny Arnoff and Mark Schulman, and all these professional guys that have been playing for decades now. They all have home studios. They do tracks for. They're barely ever going to anybody else's studio to track anymore. It's just more cost effective to
And
do it at their place.
they have control over the sound of that too. You know, it's unique. You can't blame anybody for the sound of your own rig in your own room in your
I
own
still don't
studio.
have your audio. I'm not really hearing you
Uh,
very well.
okay, well,
It's all warbly, unfortunately.
I'll tell you what. I'm going to send Pete a quick chat, and I'll send it over to him to.
Shoot me a text if you have to,
Yeah, I'm just sending. Uh,
because I'm not getting any of it.
yeah, it's weird. It's just Usually this connection's pretty good. Like I said, that's our first episode, so we're gonna figure out the little things. You're about to get a text message.
So, yeah, and if you haven't seen Roadie Shorts, go check out Roadie Shorts on the tour channel.
I'm gonna tell you. Just gonna send you the message now.
I got you now.
You got me now.
Yeah.
All right. Well, here's the deal, Pete. I'm gonna let you continue on with your Saturday night. When you have got more time, will you come back and visit us and tell us what's going on with Bumble's Bounce and Herringbone?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely, man. For
awesome.
sure.
I appreciate you taking the time out of your studio time to spend it with us.
Of course.
You know what? For the folks that send in questions after the live chat, if we don't get to them tonight, you know what? I'll follow up with Pete maybe later on, and we can get back to you on anything that I can't answer or he can't answer. We'll find out for you. But Pete, thank you so much for being on Cocktails and Streams with Skip for our premiere episode. I really appreciate it. I wish you all the best.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate you having me.
And folks, if you haven't yet, check out Roadie Shorts on YouTube.
It was a lot of fun to do.
Pete, all the best at Bubbles Bounce. We will be in touch, my friend, and thank you so much for joining us. Stay safe, stay healthy, and all the best in 2023, my friend.
Yeah, you too, sir.
All right. Thank you very much.
All right, brother.
All right. Take care. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for tuning in. That was Pete Abdou. This guy has come out of a major tour and decided to take some time tonight and spend it with me. So I'm very gracious for that. I'm very grateful and thankful to you. Thankful for all you guys for joining me tonight. Keep in touch. Next week we've got stuff on the go. I think I've got a new host or a new guest coming. More information to follow up on that. Like and subscribe. Follow me on YouTube, and you'll see it here. Skip will be back with more Cocktails and Streams. bradchatmusic.com or .ca, sorry. bradchatmusic.ca. Like and subscribe to me on YouTube, and we'll see you next week with more Cocktails and Streams. Take care.